Welcome to another edition of the NCBI Podcast. I'm June Tinsley, and today I have the pleasure of having a guest on my podcast, Grace Gavin from County Limerick. Welcome, Grace. Great to have you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Grace is finishing up transition year, and she got in touch with us to highlight the importance of technology that she uses on a day-to-day basis in the classroom and beyond. So delighted to have you discuss this topic with us, because I'm sure lots of other students who are blind or vision impaired will be able to learn from your insights and experiences, and certainly others will benefit from it. So if you want to begin by just telling us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm 17. I'm pretty much, I did transition year and I'm like pretty much finished it. We're finished up on Wednesday. I'm obviously visually impaired. I have like no vision in my right eye pretty much, and then in my left eye, I kind of have like I'm visually impaired in my left eye, but it's a lot more functional, I guess, in my right eye. Like I'm able to get around because of the vision in my left eye, but basically my two eyes are like completely different. Like I have a good eye and a bad eye pretty much.
Okay. And when you say that you get around safely enough using your good eye, obviously, does that mean use your residual vision alone, or do you use a long cane at times, or do you use any other aids?
Mostly I just get around myself. Well, like mostly I use my good eye a lot, like, and I'm able to just get around with my useful vision. And like normally if I'm walking around, I'd be with somebody, like I don't know, my parents or my sister or whoever, or like a friend. But I've recently started using the long cane. I got it when I was in first year, and I guess with COVID and everything, nobody was going anywhere, so I didn't really use it that much. And my friend, who's also visually impaired, she actually taught me how to use it. So we'd go for walks like in the park or just down by the shopping centre down by my house. And in transition year, I'm like, I used to never walk home from school, like when first to third year, and in transition year now I'm like walking home myself with the cane, and I'm walking, like I kind of just use the cane when I'm walking around myself. Even just to have it, like I'm able to walk like around with my cane just folded up. So, but I just feel better when I just have it in my hands.
Yeah, it's understandable. It certainly is an aid for you, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So moving on to technology, describe to us, please, what devices you use in the classroom that certainly help you to keep up to date with everything that's going on in the classroom.
So, well, my main device would be my iPad. It's like an iPad Pro. And I use that like in the classroom. I use it to see the board, zoom into the board, take pictures of the board. I have different apps. I use like Easy Reader, which is a app that, you know, it's for blind or visually impaired students, where you can like zoom in and you know, it can read the words out to you and you can, you know, highlight it. I use Google Docs and Google Slides, and I type instead of writing. I use a magnifier. It's like a small little magnifier, and I use that for maths, because when I do maths I write my maths, and I've only actually started using it this year.
Is that a
Um,
handheld magnifier?
Sorry?
Is that a handheld magnifier?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it can light up as well.
Okay, great,
So,
great.
yeah.
And tell me, Grace, when you were in primary school, were you able to use your iPad or not?
To be honest, I didn't actually. I didn't actually get my iPad until fifth when I was in fifth class.
Okay.
And to be honest, in primary school, I had a Liberty Scholar, and I had that like in senior infants, and I used a lot of technology, but not as much as I do now. Like I used to write, like kind of like everybody else in the class. I'd write my homework in my journal, like I'd
Yeah.
write in copies and stuff. But looking back, I don't really know why I did that, because my handwriting is awful. Like it's just so big. And the teachers were never able to like read it properly.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, secondary school is just harder, that way. Like when you're younger and when you're in primary school, the print in books are bigger and the work is just a bit easier.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I did use like technologies in primary school, but not like compared to now, like I'd be a lot more like, I guess I'd be way better at using technology than I was back in primary school.
And I suppose that comes with age as well,
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
and the environment that you're
Yeah.
working in and stuff that's understandable.
Yeah.
And I suppose, how easy was it for you to get any specialized equipment you might need, and did you receive any appropriate training in it?
Um, I kind of just figured it out myself, to be honest. Like when I was in primary school, when I had the Liberty Scholar, that's very the Liberty Scholar is great for like young children, I find, because well, when I remember having it, all you did really was just press a red button, and then like it would the s- s- it the, s- the Liberty Scholar would magnify the whiteboard for you. Um, and when it came to secondary school, then my friend, it was just my friend. She's 2 years older than me. She's also visually impaired, so she'd like, you know, show me different apps that worked for her. There's this like IT teacher, and he's really good. He like would show me if there's ever a problem with my iPad, he'd like help me. Um, so yeah, like they were great helping me, but some of like a lot of the times I just kind of figured it out myself. Like even just in IT, like when the teacher would be like saying to the students, go into Google Docs and do whatever. If we had like, I don't know, a free class to just kind of mess around with computers, I just kind of go into Google Docs and see if I can make the font size or bigger, or
Yeah.
change the font size, make it like easier to see.
And I mean, to be fair, you're obviously a very smart young lady, that you're able to literally teach yourself on these new devices.
Well,
Uh,
my friend, like, some people, they definitely, like, a few people I know, they did help me, but it was more kind of teachers and stuff, and my friend. I mean, yeah, actually, I did get help from the NCBI as well a little bit in first year, which was very good as well. And I did a few IT camps in UL with them.
Great, great. Because it really, it's all about is building up confidence and identifying what apps and software works best for you.
Yeah.
So fair play to you. And tell me, Grace, when you're doing your junior cert last summer, the exam papers are obviously not up on a whiteboard. So
Yeah.
how did you receive any modifications in order to be able to complete the junior cert?
So for my junior cert, I had modified papers for maths and science, and I think a few others, so history as well. So I think modified papers were basically where, instead of showing an image, saying describe this image, like what's in the photo, they'd kind of change the question up a little bit. So which
Was it
meant that
still on in an exam paper format though? Or did you receive it
yeah.
digitally?
Oh no, sorry. Yeah, it was in an exam paper format.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
So they changed the question up a little bit, like they'd whereas I can still get the same marks. But for my junior cert, I had a scribe, which is basically my SNA. I'd tell her the answers and she'd write it down.
Yes.
And I'm trying to remember. I think the exam papers were I got a scribe, and she'd basically write the answers for me, and I think I got like 10 minutes extra.
Okay, that's not a huge amount of extra time now, in fairness.
No, it wasn't.
Fair play to you
it was
for
kind of
getting
stressful,
through.
to be honest.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
Which means then you were probably very appreciative of coming into transition year and being able to expose yourself to different subjects or modules or activities. And how did you find transition year?
Oh, I loved it. Like, transition year was definitely the best year in secondary school so far. I got to, like, we had a great, like, transition year. Like, we were so lucky. Because the two other kind of TY years, they were still kind of, one year was like in COVID and the other year was kind of coming out of COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got to go on a ski trip in transition year to Italy, and we got to stay there for a week.
Brilliant.
And I was kind of nervous, to be honest, because I thought, okay, like, I wouldn't be able to see very well, and with skiing and stuff, but like I got a private instructor who'd like guide me through the snow.
Brilliant.
And the teachers that were like there were just so nice to me and very understanding and good. And most of the like activities in transition year I was able to like participate in, except this one trip. It was for like my gashka. It was a trip to the Burren, and it was basically walking on a load of rocks. So like, and I'm not great at walking on kind of rocky surfaces. Like but that was kind of my own decision, like not to go on that trip, because I was just worried if, I'd need to have somebody like hold on to, and I'd just be worried if I'd slow everybody down. So, but that was like my own choice, like the TY has been great. Like we got to do so much.
And did you get a chance to benefit from any different subjects that you would never have been exposed to before?
Well, yeah, we did a lot of workshops, and we got to, go on, like, I guess one of the main things is we got to go on loads of workshops. We did different options, like the options would be kind of like journalism, sign language, and one of the main things about it is if you're not sure on the subjects that you want to pick for fifth year, you'd have a good amount of time to think about it. And you can see what subjects you're struggling with. You can maybe try keep on top of them. And I mean, going into fifth year, like they said to us to just focus on the subjects that we're interested in, because then we'll know that we'll get good marks for leaving cert.
True. Good advice. And will you be able to have a TY graduation or anything like that?
Yeah, we're having a TY graduation on this Wednesday, I think. So, yeah, it's basically kind of a little ceremony, just saying thanks to the teachers, and yeah.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
And tell me, Grace, in terms of the technology that you use in the classroom, do you feel that other pupils are benefiting from the fact that they obviously have you in the classroom and they can see how adaptable and flexible and that you are to using technology for your own benefit? Do you think that's had a positive influence on your classmates?
I think so. Like, to be honest, in first year, it was a bit not awkward, but just kind of, it's very new to them because I came in like, you know, they all came in with to a big new school with their like books and their copies, and then I was just there with my huge iPad. Like, I'd get up and it would be connected to a stand. I used to have an old stand that would connect to my iPad. But the thing is, that stand, it used to screw onto, it was only able to screw onto like the teacher's desk. So it would take a while for like the teacher and my SNA to like screw it onto the desk. And I think in first year, definitely I think they sort of liked that because it used to waste a lot of class time. And they used to like sometimes like I guess they were in first year, everyone was very curious about my technologies that I'd use, but you know, now they're just kind of used to me using them, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a good thing that it's just become so normal. And they can see that you can obviously participate academically, socially, and every other way just as much as anybody else, which is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And lastly, I suppose, if I could ask you, what one piece of advice would you give to another young person with a vision impairment who's in secondary school?
Probably to like, especially in first year and well, like all years, probably to just, you know, really just like, if you can't see something, just say it to like anybody. Like, that was kind of something that I just never really did in first year. Like if there's a glare on the board, like for me, when the teacher's writing on the board, I can't see it if there's a big glare, or I'm only able to see it in like black marker or blue marker. So if the teacher writes in green marker or red marker, I'm just like, okay, I can't see it. So just, you know, if you can't see something, just ask and don't be afraid if you're like interrupting the lesson, because most students and teachers will understand. And you know, like if students are, you know, asking you about different stuff, like I don't know, like why you use a cane or why you use technologies, you know, just I guess be confident and just tell them the reason, because you know, at the end of the day, like they're just curious.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's for their benefit as well, because it's so important just to spread awareness of what it's like to live with a vision impairment. So it's important to answer those questions. Well, very sound advice, Grace, very much so. And certainly we would encourage anyone, all pupils, to self-advocate and kind of speak up if they need assistance in the classroom or anywhere else. To conclude, I'd just like to say thanks very much, Grace, for sharing your experiences with us. And to any of our listeners, if you wish to touch base with any of NCBI services, either our children and young people's team directly or our technology team, feel free to do so through our info line 1-800-911-250, or all details are up on our website, ncbi.ie. But for now, I would just like to say thanks very much, Grace.
No problem. Thank you so much.